Hey guys, welcome to the Kingdom of God Part 1. God bless you. My name is Vebehan, a prince of the Kingdom of Heaven. We are continuing our discussion on the subject of the Kingdom of Heaven. But before going further, I want to establish this base. The Kingdom of God is not a religion. The Kingdom of God is a government and shall never be a religion. Today, we'll be defining the Kingdom of Heaven. Secondly, we will be discussing about the differences between the Kingdom of Heaven and the kingdoms of this earth. And thirdly, we will be discussing the difference between the kingdom of God and the kingdom of heaven. Without wasting time, let's dive straight into our discussion for today. What is the kingdom of heaven? I will give you a Dr. Miles Monroe definition, which is the most accurate definition that captures all the components of the kingdom. The kingdom of heaven is the governing sovereign authority of a king over his territory, impacting that territory with his will, his purpose, creating a lifestyle and a culture that befits the king's desire. Let me repeat again. The kingdom of heaven is the governing sovereign authority of a king over his territory, impacting it with his will, his purpose, by so doing creating a lifestyle and a culture that reflects the desire of the king. In this definition, there are key words to take note of. We are going to take note of the word government, the word sovereignty, the word authority, and the territory. What does the word government? We all know what a government is. So the kingdom of God has a government, and the king, who is Elohim, is the governor of that territory. We talk about sovereignty. The kingdom of heaven and Elohim, the king of heaven, is a sovereign God. He is self-sufficient. That's what sovereignty means, self-sufficient. He doesn't need anything outside of him to exist. That's why he is sovereign and his kingdom is sovereign. And then authority, about authority, his authority is absolute. He is neither under any authority, but he is the absolute authority of the kingdom. The word kingdom are two words that are meshed together. King, who is the ruler, and domain, the territory. Domain is the territory. So kingdom means the king's dominion over his territory. Take note of the word his. He owns the territory. He owns everything in it, including everybody, every animal, everything in it. He owns the kingdom He is the owner. That is why he is called Lord. That's why he is called Lord. Another name for owner. He is Lord. That is why Elohim, the King of the kingdom of heaven, is called. We will go straight to the second point without wasting much of our time. The kingdom of God is invisible, while the kingdoms of the earth are visible. The King of the kingdom of heaven has absolute authority, while the kingdoms of the earth do not have absolute authority, because they are under the authority of the kingdom of heaven. The kingdom of heaven owns, the kingdom of heaven and the king of heaven owns everything in the domain, including the beings and everything in the kingdom. The kingdom of heaven and the king owns it. Why? The kingdoms of the earth do not own the people, they do not own the land, they do not own everything in the kingdom. And the third point, the difference between the kingdom of heaven and the kingdom of God. The kingdom of heaven is the actual territory that Elohim, the King of heaven, governs directly, and it is an invisible kingdom, while the kingdom of God is the extension of the King of heaven's authority on another territory. So the kingdom of God is the influence of God in another territory, and the king influences in another territory by delegating authority to chosen ones that he has selected, or rather his children, to impact that territory with his will, his purpose, his culture, his lifestyle, and every other thing that he wills. That is the difference between the kingdom of heaven and the kingdom of God. Yep, that is all for today. If you find value in what I've communicated, you can as well like, share. Thank you very much, and see you again. Bye bye.